The boy stared into the deep pit, a terrifying thought creeping into his mind. If he could trap his parents and sister in this hole, no one would be able to control him anymore. During lunch, Peter deliberately asked his parents about the pit in the forest. His father explained that it was an abandoned construction site. For miles around, there wasn't a single soul living there, and falling into that pit would be deadly. Upon hearing this, the boy devised his plan. He started by mixing sleeping pills into drinks and testing them on the household workers. After determining the right dosage to knock out an adult, Peter turned his attention to his parents and sister. Soon after, all three fell unconscious from the drugged drinks. Peter dragged them out one by one and placed them on a cart. Under the cover of darkness, he wheeled them to the pit and threw them in. The next day, when the drugs wore off, they were horrified to discover themselves trapped in the forest pit. Peter was nowhere to be seen. They immediately realized their precious son was behind all this. They desperately screamed for help, but their efforts were futile. For miles around, there wasn't another living soul. Peter picked up his parents' phones and, mimicking their voices, canceled all their appointments. Then he took his father's luxury car out of the garage, experiencing the thrill of driving for the first time. He went to an ATM in town, used his father's bank card, and withdrew $50,000. He planned to use this money to experience all the adult pleasures he'd been denied. 3 days later, his mother's close friend came to visit. Peter had already prepared his story. He told her that his grandfather had recently passed away, and his parents had taken his sister to attend the funeral in their hometown. They wouldn't be back for a while, and since he had school, he had to stay behind. His explanation seemed perfectly reasonable, and the visitor didn't suspect a thing. After his mother's friend left, Peter remembered his family trapped in the pit. He cautiously approached the edge. His parents demanded to know why he had done this. Peter remained silent, simply dropped some supplies into the pit, then turned and walked away, ignoring their angry shouts. Back home, he set up his gaming console in his room and lost himself in carefree gaming. Meanwhile, the three prisoners tried desperately to climb out of the pit, but all their attempts failed. The walls were too steep and deep to climb without equipment. Feeling bored, Peter invited a classmate over. They played in the swimming pool and enjoyed various games, acting like adults without rules or restrictions. They raided the refrigerator and tried their hand at cooking like grown-ups. But, caught up in all the fun, Peter forgot about his family in the pit. By now, they had run out of food and were starving, reduced to eating rotting banana peels to survive. Even worse was their complete lack of basic sanitation.